Good morning, you guys. Well, I guess I'll see you in the afternoon. So, good afternoon. But I wanted to take a few minutes today and kind of simplify what you should be working on while you are out. You do have your critical analysis due next week. I post dated it to the 4th so that you have some extra time since we're working in a little different circumstances now. So, you'll see on your screen our course page on Schoology. What I want to remind you of first is these writing resources that are here that I've compiled. Stuff for transitions, MLA style guide, how to use Grammarly, thesis statements, creating and using outlines, argument basics, and how to format your paper. All right, so all of this material is here. Let me pop back to the main page, and I want to go down here to this week's folder, which is blue, week of November 23rd. So I added in this material. After speaking with Mrs. Ricketts, it sounded like there was some confusion on the books I wanted you to grab. So rather than trying to go through our typical processes for a critical analysis, everybody is going to be reading Everything That Rises Must Converge. Okay, this is by Flannery O'Connor. I will post for you some biographical information on the author. This is a very popular short story from Flannery O'Connor that has roots in the 1950s and 1960s and the civil rights movement and reactions to that as a white individual. But also definitely has some ties to today in regards to everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and the human rights movement and all of that jazz. So the first thing you need to do, of course, is to read this story. All right. Then review the assignment itself, because your job is to make a subtle literary argument based on your reading. Soon as this loads here. Okay, so this says 12:2. I post dated it to 12:4. Must be 4 pages. All right. The purpose of the critical analysis is to carefully examine and evaluate a work of literature or an aspect of a work of literature. So you can examine the story as a whole, or you can analyze a specific aspect, like a specific character examination, a theme analysis, tone. All right. Any of those can come into play. Remember, it is not a research essay, and it is not, absolutely not, a plot summary. I know what happens in the story. All right. So your job is to establish a definitive thesis and defend it. You must include specific references to the text, including details to help you defend your position. You must quote and or paraphrase at least 4 specific parts of the text that you are analyzing. Use MLA guidelines for your references. For this essay, you will only use the primary source. It's just you and the literature. All right. No outside sources, you guys, just the story itself and your brain. All right, for each essay, you will select the piece. I've given you the piece. Okay, so here's some different ideas. You can discuss the effectiveness of imagery. You can compare and contrast the writer's presentation of the theme. Discuss how the writer uses setting. Analyze a character flaw. Consider what you know of a specific literary time period and how it illustrates the morals or values of that time period. All right. Really, the possibilities are endless. You can take these essays in whatever direction you choose, but the key is it's a literary argument. You must include a rebuttal. So if you're arguing that Flannery O'Connor presents a specific perspective in order to broaden the views of her audience, then you also in your rebuttal would need to argue against that, present the other side, and then refute. Typical standards, MLA, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced. Let me think here. As you are working, no, you don't need to do an outline. I would appreciate it if you would run your thesis statements by me so that I can make any corrections ahead of time. And then I want you to have a full rough draft of your paper when you get to class on Tuesday so that I can provide you some time to do a workshop with one other person. All right, so hopefully that all makes sense. Let me go back to our regular Schoology folder. like I said, I will post some biographical information on O'Connor so that you have a little bit of context to place this story into. And in regards to that, that's all I can think of. So today I would get this story read. If you're able to print it so that you can annotate it, I would suggest doing that, or just take notes in your notebook. I'm really looking for you to up your game with this second essay, especially considering that we're all focusing on the same one. You're welcome to talk to me, talk to each other about what's going on in the story, ask questions if you're confused. There's really a lot going on in the story that you can mess around with, that you can find your own unique aspect to argue in your analysis. So, questions, you let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to keep moving. Again, full rough draft. All right, minimum of a 3-page rough draft. Let's just say 3 pages. All right, since you have to have a minimum of 4, you'll be almost to 4 if you have your 3 on Tuesday. And then Tuesday, when we come back from break, we will have a writer's workshop. Okay, I'm going to hush now. And again, if you have questions, let me know as soon as possible.